So, guys, listen. Happy Sunday night. It's been a nice weekend. It's a quiet Sunday night, and I figured I'd just talk for a little while about something of interest. And what I'm going to talk about is cryptocurrency. And what I'm going to talk about is the final stage of the crisis that's coming. The stage where people have lost confidence in the fiat currencies. That's the spot we're going to start at tonight, because that's the spot where cryptocurrencies are going to come into their own. I'm going to tell you, I have reason to believe, and this is what I believe, that cryptocurrencies were actually, I believe they go all the way back to 1947. I think that back then they weren't well understood. I think it took a long time to develop them. My personal opinion on it is this was in development stages for a long time before 2009, and they knew exactly what they were doing when they pre-mined the coin that would have the first mover advantage. I also believe that coin that has the first mover advantage was actually a beta test. They were testing an initial test of a system, and I think what's happened to them is that and subsequent early first mover advantage coins that have come along have done something that they didn't want to actually happen, but now it's happened. The horse, basically the old saying, the horse is out of the barn. And at this point, I believe that the powers that be, the bankers and the controllers behind the bankers are upset about all this, and they're going to wage a war against these currencies that they released in the first place. But they didn't expect them to get out of control like they are. They're going to wage a war, a battle against them with their own centralized cryptocurrencies, because I believe originally from the beginning they only wanted Bitcoin to be a limited test, a beta test of the system to make sure that this would actually work. And I think that it was successful, but then they wanted it to disappear and die at a certain point, and it hasn't died. In fact, it's proven tougher than they thought to get rid of it. And it's also, not only has it not died, it's bore offspring. Its offspring is like Ethereum, Litecoin, all these other coins. I mean, there's hundreds of different coins. These coins have actually positioned themselves now, including Bitcoin, in a position where they're ready to take over the world's financial system. They're poised and ready. The powers that be that wanted to end this beta test realize this, and they're desperate to get rid of them and replace them with their own centralized versions. And they're going to try their hardest at a certain point. Now, let's move ahead in time. Pretend that we've had the crisis, and all over the world, people are fed up with fiat currencies. They realize what fiat currencies are now. They realize that the buying power of their fiat currencies is taking a nosedive. They're trying to get out. What this is going to create is a transitionary period. And what it's going to show, and what all of you should actually know out there, is that cryptocurrencies are actually, because of the disruption that they're going to create during this transition period, it's going to be horrible. This is going to be the worst part of the entire collapse. Is going to come after the Fed tries to fix everything. After the central banks try to fix everything, there's going to be a short period of relief. I know how to explain it to you guys. If you know anything about the appendix, an awful lot of people have had something called appendicitis. And when they first get appendicitis, they have a terrible pain down in their lower belly, in their abdomen, in their lower abdomen. A terrible pain. It's an abscess. It's an abscessed appendix. But sometimes that pain will go away. They'll have appendicitis, and they won't get it fixed, and won't go to the hospital or whatever, and suddenly the pain goes away and they feel okay again. What's happened is the appendix is actually burst. A short while later, they get terribly ill. They get something called peritonitis. which is an extremely, it can be, if they let it go too long, they will die. Now, here's the thing about the financial, how this applies to the financial system is, when the crisis first occurs, it's going to be like the initial pain of the appendix. We're going to go through a period of pain, deflation, and then the Fed's going to come in and fix it, and we're going to feel relief. Almost like when the appendix is burst. But the worst part of the crisis is going to come later. It's going to be like the peritonitis. And this is the loss of confidence in the fiat currency system. And because this other system has already made its way and it's there poised and waiting, this cryptography system that actually works good, and because it's needed now at this point, because one system has failed, there's going to be a bridgeway or a transition into this new system. But the disruption it's going to cause, because this is going to be a forced transition, not a slow transition, but a very fast, rapid transition, is going to cause tremendous disruption in the world. And that disruption is going to cause more trouble and more problems for society than the initial crisis that we're going to go through. The initial crisis that we're going to go through is going to be a cakewalk compared to the second crisis that's going to come after a recovery. The second stage, when we have to make a transition over into a new monetary system, is actually going to be the worst part, worse than the, they might be able to retain law and order, and probably will be, right through the deflationary crisis. It's going to be bad, but they'll probably be able to maintain law and order. But there's a possibility that the second part, and this is why the cryptocurrencies were originally intended, I believe that they're inherently, I don't like them, ultimately. I know that this is actually, my opinion on it is not good. I do not like cryptocurrency. I wish that all this cryptocurrency just fall off the face of the earth and disappear because of the trouble it's going to cause. But it's not up to me. I'm just telling you the trend and where this is going. Where this is going is inherently something that is very, very bad for humanity. That's where it's going. Because it's going to create a world where instead of having a inflationary currency, we've always, all your life you've been born and been alive, you've always worked with deflationary currencies. These are currencies that you want to spend them because you don't want to save them too much. You want to spend because there's always about a 2% or 3% or 5% inflation rate built in. And so it doesn't pay you to hoard. Cryptocurrencies are not like that. Cryptocurrencies are all deflationary. And so what people do, it pays you to save. Well, cryptocurrencies, we're going to be in a system where people are it's going to pay them to save, and it's going to create a very clear two-tier system. If you thought that the fiat currency system was bad, you have no idea how bad the cryptography currency system is going to be when it actually gets here. It's not going to bring freedom. It's going to bring the haves and the have-nots. It's going to bring the ones who hoard and hold cryptocurrency wealth. It's going to make them the wealthy amongst society, and it's going to make an awful large other part of society extremely poor. So it's going to create some sort of a feudalistic type world. It's going to create some sort of and we're going to be forced into making this transition because the people who we've trusted have proved untrustworthy. The banking system and the system that we trusted to hold our money and to maintain the fiat currency system. And if the fiat currency system had been maintained by people that you can trust, who would have kept the fiat currency in a limited supply and would have kept it backed by gold, we could have run with this fiat currency system and paper cash probably forever. But they have proved far, far untrustworthy, the ones who have been trusted with the fiat monetary system. And so Because what they're going to do now is we're going to lose trust in the currency itself because of their untrustworthiness. And we're going to put our trust in a currency that that can be trusted. Cryptographic currencies actually can be trusted because the computer controls them. And the computer will not cheat for anyone. It plays by the rules. It's just like your video games, you know. Whenever you play a video game, all the way back to the Mario games, when they used to have to jump at a specified time to get over a specified target or whatever, if somebody was playing the game with you, they couldn't cheat. If they were playing Mario with you, a Mario game, Mario Kart or anything else, there's no cheating against the computer. The computer is going to give you the exact same obstacles it's going to give him, and either he's going to get over them or you're going to get over them, but you're not going to be able to cheat and actually cheat in the game. Like kids, when they're playing a Monopoly game now, and it's a real board, a real game board, and they're not on a computer or anything like that, you got to be careful who you give the bank to, who you let be the bank. Because by gosh, they can really cheat. And this is what's happened in our society. We have not been careful enough who we've allowed to be the bank. And they've been cheating us all the way through. And what's happened is now we've got to the point where we've all lost confidence. So we're going to go over to this computer-controlled system where nobody can cheat. But the problem with it is all of these cryptographic currencies are all structured completely different than what we're used to. They're all structured in a way so that they are all deflationary. They're not inflationary currencies, they're deflationary currencies. Like take Bitcoin, for instance. Only 21 million ever created. The blockchain keeps halving, so it keeps getting harder and harder to mine them. It rewards the people who hoard. So if you hoard this year, next year it's worth more. And it punishes the people who spend their money and don't hoard. And so what will happen is the hoarders ultimately, with these cryptographic currencies, will be the big winners. They're going to be rich. And all of the rest of the people are going to be poor because not everyone can hoard these cryptocurrencies. An awful lot of the people are going to be caught with not very much of the cryptographic currency, and so they're going to be poor. They're always going to be struggling, working for the people who have a lot of the cryptographic currency. And how high in price these cryptographic currencies will go when this transition happens, when we move from a fiat-based monetary system to a cryptographic currency system, then all of the wealth in the world is not going to cease to exist. All of the farmland, all of the cities, all of the businesses, everything is not going to cease to exist. It's just going to be transferred over from a fiat monetary system into a cryptographic monetary system. And ultimately, when that happens, the wealth is going to be transferred over. You're going to see a 1,000-fold increase in the price of the cryptographic currency. So if you've bought $1,000 worth of cryptographic currency, and you've bought the right ones, you bought one that's not going to die, you bought one that's going to be a winner, it's going to be one of the ones that make it through and become the new paradigm or the new monetary system, then $1,000 is going to be multiplied 1,000 times over. So if you bought $1,000 worth, you're going to have the equivalent buying power of now $1 million. And this is what's going to actually happen. And it's not going to take a long time for this to happen either, because once trust is lost and this money starts to transfer over in massive amounts into the cryptographic system, and we're going to go through one hiccup, I believe, before this happens, before the transfer occurs. And money's going to transfer back out. So see, money started to transfer into the cryptographic system. We went up to 750 billion. Now we've went down to 400 and something billion, right? I believe that it's going to have one more pulse downwards coming, where it's probably going to go down to like 200 billion or less, maybe 100 billion. But then we're going to have the big pulse up where the fiat monetary system fails, and all of the wealth is transferred over into the cryptographic system. And it's going to be absolutely ridiculous what's going to happen, because this is going to cause a mass chaos in the world. It's going to cause massive amount of problems for people in the world. We could actually see a reduction in the world's population because of this. This could actually cause such disruption in the world that an awful lot of people might end up dying. It could be really bad. So the second part of the crisis is going to be the worst part of the crisis. After they repair, after the Federal Reserve and all of their crony buddies and all of their crony, they should all be in jail, all of them. All of the central banks. I mean, all of them, all of the central banks are in this together. But when they all work together to repair the damage that's going to be caused by this deflationary period that we're coming up on, then they're all going to be hailed as heroes. But what they've done is they've set everything up for this transfer to occur over from the fiat monetary system, which nobody's going to trust anymore, because they're going to really have to print tremendous amounts of money to try to stimulate the economy back up to speed again. And believe me, they're going to do it. They're going to print all this money, and they're going to be hailed the heroes, because the economic crisis is going to come to a close. And we're going to go through what's called an economic recovery, a real recovery. But it's only going to be short-lived, because the fiat currencies then are going to start to die, and that's when the transfer is going to occur over into the cryptographic system. Voluminous amounts of money are going to be transferred from the fiat monetary system over, and people are going to start to buy cryptographic. And when that money starts to make its transfer, you're going to see similar to what happened last time when it went up, when Bitcoin ran up, and the cryptocurrencies ran up to 750 billion. It's going to be similar to that, except this time it's not going to stop. It's going to go past $1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion, and it's just going to keep right on going. And what you're going to see then at that point is the fiat currencies going down in their purchasing power rapidly, and the cryptographic currencies going up rapidly in their purchasing power. And everybody's going to be trying to buy in, and it's going to be a massive problem, this transfer, because it's going to happen so fast at that point. Once it starts to snowball and starts to grow and starts to feed upon itself, it's going to cause massive disruptions in the system at that point, and the system might actually start to fail, and it could cause massive problems for everyone on Earth. But ultimately, that transfer will finish occurring, and then at that point, you're going to see probably your cryptographic currencies go up 1,000 times in their purchasing power. If you're into the good ones, the ones that are going to survive. Now, I'm not sure which ones those are going to be. It could actually, some of it might actually be coins that have not even been invented yet, or have not even come to have a name on them yet. They could be running on a different algorithm other than blockchain. They could be running on Hashgraph. But you're going to see this occur, and if you're able to follow things and you're able to act wisely, you have a first mover advantage over all those other people out there right now. You're gonna get opportunities that are gonna come along. If you think that it's over, the opportunity to make money with cryptocurrency, if you think that it's over, it's just really starting to begin. We're just going through the first initial phases of it. This is going to be really strange times coming up in the next couple of years. So you need to prepare for it. What more can I say about that? Listen, thank you guys for listening to this particular episode, this Sunday Night Report. And we'll catch you guys in the next show, Monday, the Market Report. That's if it's not a holiday tomorrow. And bye-bye for now.